Hello there everyone, this is my new Obi-Wan Kenobi video for Darth Vader, Grogu, and Ahsoka Tano. They finally gave us a look at Hayden Christensen's Darth Vader during the episodes, and a lot of you have been asking about Ahsoka and Grogu during the events of the series because they would have been very active during that period right after Order 66. Literally, Grogu would have looked the exact same because Yoda's species ages so slowly. And fun fact too, Grogu and Anakin Skywalker, or Darth Vader, however you want to think about him, are about the same age, so post all your Chosen One memes. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the episodes. I will be doing videos for the series just like I do for all the other Marvel and Star Wars Disney Plus series, and I will be talking about the new backstory and canon that we learned around the Order 66 Revenge of the Sith era during the Book of Boba Fett. So careful for spoilers if for some reason you didn't watch any of the Boba Fett videos. But as you can see from their preview, by this time Darth Vader has constructed his castle on Mustafar when the series picks up. The scene is taking place in his special regeneration chamber that we saw during Rogue One. He uses the Bacta tank here, just like we saw Boba Fett using it during the Boba Fett series, to heal his compounding damage to his body that he suffered on Mustafar, while also using that time in the tank to meditate in the dark side of the Force. The whole idea is that the Sith tech, the Sith armor that he wears, his full-on Darth Vader armor, keeps him from dying. Like, his body was so damaged that he needs that to live. If he takes it off for even a couple minutes, he'll die. So all the Sith tech in the Bacta basically just freeze him at this level of damage. Like, it's so much damage that it's not enough to heal him back to normal. His whole castle on Mustafar here is built on dark side ley lines that run through the planet. It's very powerful in the dark side of the Force. The giant spikes on the top aren't just for show. They're like dark side tuning forks that focus dark side energy into this inner chamber where he meditates. He built the castle using very specific Sith architecture in this specific place, all to tap the extra power to use the Force to try and find Padme in the afterlife, so to speak. Find her spirit and possibly find a way to truly conquer death, as he was talking about during Revenge of the Sith, and bring her back to the world of the living. So the castle isn't just meant to look badass, it serves a very specific purpose. Ewan McGregor also talked about Hayden Christensen coming back, and during the clip that I'll post here, it's him talking about seeing him as Anakin Skywalker on set, not as Darth Vader, confirming one of my theories.
I look over at him, he's Anakin now, I'm Obi-Wan now, and it's like nothing had happened. Like, I didn't see any age on his face. I didn't, like, the period of time between episode 3 and now just didn't exist or something. It was so peculiar.
I think when he talks about seeing Hayden as Anakin on set and feeling like no time had passed, he's talking about scenes where Obi-Wan is either having visions, flashbacks, or nightmares about the past before Anakin had turned into Darth Vader and started wearing the armor. But in the actual present day of the series, this is what Hayden Christensen is going to look like. He'll be in full Darth Vader costume and prosthetics when he takes the helmet off. Like, we'll see his face, Hayden Christensen, all burned and scarred like we did at the end of Revenge of the Sith. So you'll know that it's Hayden Christensen inside the armor. For those of you asking about the Inquisitors too, because they're actually fairly near to where Darth Vader's castle is. The Fortress Inquisitorius is on one of the moons of Mustafar, really close by. It's the same one that you saw at the end of Jedi Fallen Order if you played that game. Yes, it's the same in all the Star Wars canon. So anytime you see their fortress, it's the same fortress. But even though you have all the Inquisitors training over here in this fortress, and Darth Vader nearby in his castle on Mustafar, he himself doesn't really care that much about the Inquisitors. They're just a tool to him. He and the Grand Inquisitor kind of view each other the way that Darth Maul and Darth Vader would view each other. They're like competition for the Emperor. Just because they're both part of the Empire working on the same team and they're both powerful dark side Force users does not mean that they're friends. Just to explain the Grand Inquisitor's backstory, he actually appears a lot during Star Wars Rebels. The Grand Inquisitor was a Jedi Knight. He was one of the Temple Guardians at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. He's actually one of the Jedi Knights that arrested Ahsoka when she was accused of treason during the Clone Wars and had to stand trial. The whole event that caused her to want to leave the Jedi Order. This is what he looked like before he turned to the dark side and became the Grand Inquisitor. Canonically, they explained that the Grand Inquisitor was actually with Anakin when they're fighting Barriss Offee and arrest her for treason, and he's meant to be one of the 2 guards escorting her into this giant courtroom where Palpatine is overseeing everything. He hears Barriss Offee's big speech about the corruption, the state of the Senate, the Jedi Order. It plants this seed in his mind, and he thinks that she's right. So later during the events of the movie, when Order 66 happens, he further realizes how right she is about the corruption, at least in his mind, so it was the beginnings of his descent to the dark side. And he winds up aiding in Order 66. So while Anakin is turning to the dark side, becoming minted as Darth Vader and executes all these Jedi at the temple, a version of that is kind of happening for the Grand Inquisitor. That was sort of the moment that he turned to the dark side of the Force. The producers did explain that because the Obi-Wan series is only 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, Darth Vader, or Anakin Skywalker, however you want to think about him, still in his early 30s, still very young, and is incredibly powerful during the events of the series because a lot of his dark side power comes from his anger, his stronger emotions. So 10 years on, everything that happened with Padme's death, the fall of the Jedi, is still fairly fresh in his mind. So all of his negative emotions for that are still very powerful in him. By the time the events of the original trilogy come around and he learns that Luke Skywalker is his son, he starts to feel the pull of the light side of the Force again, and it actually kind of weakens him in the dark side of the Force, so he's actually not quite as powerful as he is during the events of the Obi-Wan series.
My son, it is the only way.
But I think because they're trying to be so careful about not breaking canon completely with this Obi-Wan series, Darth Vader will not learn about Luke and Leia during the events of the series. They might tease that, like the Inquisitors might almost learn about Luke Skywalker and Leia, but Obi-Wan Kenobi will probably prevent that from happening. Also, a big reminder too, the Grand Inquisitor and the fifth brother, at least in this series, canonically did not die until the events of Star Wars Rebels, which is about 18 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith. About 8 years or so after the events of the Obi-Wan series. So the Grand Inquisitor and at least the fifth brother will survive past the end of the Obi-Wan series. Probably get their asses kicked pretty bad by Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's a bunch of red shirt looking lesser Inquisitors in this trailer. They'll probably kill some of them off. Talking about Grogu and Ahsoka during the events of the series. So as we learned during the Boba Fett episodes, Luke Skywalker helped Grogu unlock his memories from Order 66.
Would you like to remember?
He was saved by these Jedi, then taken into deep hiding in the Outer Rim, and Grogu himself just kind of cut himself off from the Force, used the Jedi technique of just not using the Force at all as a way to prevent the Emperor, Darth Vader, the Inquisitors from sensing him through the Force. He suffered really bad PTSD, essentially burying all his traumatic memories until Luke Skywalker helped him recover them and recover his previous training at the Jedi Temple. Because just charting the timeline here, if you think about it, Grogu, same age as Anakin Skywalker, would have been around 22 when Order 66 happened, even though he and Anakin Skywalker don't seem like they encountered each other during the night of Order 66. Grogu would have been training at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant for about 18 years by this time. Jedi are typically brought to the temple around the age of 4. That was about how old Obi-Wan Kenobi was when he was brought to the Jedi Temple to become a Padawan. So while the Obi-Wan episodes are happening, Grogu is supposed to be deep in the Outer Rim somewhere. Ahsoka Tano is basically doing the same thing during this period, just in a very different part of the Outer Rim. She's doing everything she can to hide from Darth Vader and the Inquisitors. The only difference, though, is that unlike Grogu, she's not hiding herself from the Force. She's still using the Force, her Jedi abilities, to help people. She didn't cut herself off completely. You remember the ending scene from the Clone Wars Season 7? That's actually a time jump after Order 66 a couple years later. The scene of Darth Vader finding her lightsaber on this planet with all the clone trooper helmets is happening long after the events of Order 66, but before the events of the Obi-Wan series. I know there's been a lot of talk about them breaking canon during the series because there's going to be a big Obi-Wan Kenobi Darth Vader rematch at some point during the episodes. Unless they pull an Obi-Wan twist like that for Ahsoka's character, kind of bending the rules, the interpretation of canon, Ahsoka never physically met Anakin Skywalker or Darth Vader again until the events of Star Wars Rebels during Twilight of the Apprentice in the Sith Temple with their big fight scene.
Ahsoka.
Anakin, I won't leave you. Not this time.
Then you will die.
Probably one of the best Star Wars scenes from any Star Wars production, movie, or TV series ever. The only thing I'll say about this is that Darth Vader and Ahsoka did have Force visions of each other before this moment, so that and flashbacks are the two ways they could have Ahsoka and Anakin Skywalker scenes. But because Hayden Christensen supposedly signed a deal to come back for the Ahsoka series in addition to the Obi-Wan series, I think they'll save most of the live-action Anakin and Ahsoka scenes for the Ahsoka episodes. For those of you asking about Qui-Gon Jinn showing up during the Obi-Wan series, at the end of Revenge of the Sith, Yoda literally tells Obi-Wan, I have a mission for you. I'm going to teach you how to train in the Force and commune with this Force spirit, not quite a Force ghost, but a Force spirit of Qui-Gon Jinn.
On Tatooine, training I have for you. An old friend has learned the path to immortality.
Qui-Gon?
How to commune with him, I will teach you.
And Qui-Gon Jinn is going to teach Obi-Wan Kenobi how to become a Force ghost fully, like the way you actually see him during the original trilogy and then all the other Star Wars productions. So that when Darth Vader kills him on the Death Star during A New Hope, that's how he's able to become a Force ghost. That would be the easy way to explain why Qui-Gon Jinn would show up during the Obi-Wan series. I will do more Obi-Wan videos as we get more details and footage about the episodes. If you do have any other questions, just leave them in the comments below and I'll cover them in my future bonus videos. Everyone click here to rewatch that Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer a billion more times, and click here for my brand new Marvel Moon Knight trailer. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.